everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we have the Lockrack clothes drying rack to be used with your Lockrack kayak carrier base. This is going to be a great way when you're out overlanding, kayaking, paddle boarding, for a spot to hang up your towels, your life jackets, your clothes, and that way they can dry up without having to set up a whole clothesline across some trees. I actually went on a pretty cool kayaking trip yesterday, and this would have been really helpful to have because I already have a kayak carrier on my roof, I already have a kayak up there, but what if after the trip I just need a spot to put away my towel or my wet life jacket since it got tossed into the creek? This would have been great because then I didn't have any rope on me to make a clothesline, and I needed a safe spot to let the things hang that was also effective. So how much can you stack up onto your clothesline? Well, the frame is 40 inches long by 16 inches wide, and it does have 5 strings where you can hang your individual articles of clothing, but in the case of our life jacket, I just threw it over the entire frame for maximum support. So the carrier is made of aluminum, which makes it lightweight, and later I'll show you how to just take it off and back on very easily and quickly. But when you have your heavier articles of clothing, you might be a little conscious about how much weight can you actually put on this. So it does depend on your roof rack, how far it sits away from your roof rack, as well as how tight you tighten it down. So you can adjust the bracket back and forth on your Lockrack base. So if you have it further out, that's great because that's more distance away from your car, less water being dripped down your door. But if it is further out, that's also more leverage and possibly less weight you can put on the bracket. So moving it further in, you can make the adjustment to find the balance for you. To adjust the length, in order to make it closer, all you need to do is push in on the rack. But if you wanted to extend it out, you do need to get your Lockrack base tool and then make sure it's in the unlocked position right there as you pull out on the rack. Can you have your kayak on your Lockrack carrier and attach the clothes drying rack? Well, sort of, in its own way. So you have to be mindful that you can still use one of the arms to hold the kayak in. If the kayak or canoe is too big, you might not be able to install this other clothes drying rack. And please don't drive around with the clothes drying rack in that position since you won't have full security of the kayak. So it might fit and it might work. It just depends on how large your kayak is. This is actually 2 parts. We have the adapter or the bracket that fits into the Lockrack base, and then we have our clothesline frame. So if we wanted to, when we take it off, we just lift up on the frame and that pops it out of its bracket, and now we have 2 pieces. So on one side, this is great because it's less bulky and you can carry around in smaller, more manageable pieces, but also you can use this adapter bracket for other Lockrack accessories. So for example, I have the Lockrack dressing room, very similar design when it comes to the frame of the clothesline, so you can see how the brackets as well as the frames can be interchangeable. This is designed more for the convenience of using this with your Lockrack base. So if I'm done camping, I'm going to put the kayak back up. We're just going to use the lock to take this bracket out, set this to the side, grab the Lockrack arm that matches our kayak, push this in, and that's locked and secured. Now the one change you have to make to the base is you have to take off the cap that is on your Lockrack base in order to fit both arms of the bracket. So your normal kayak arm only has 1 arm, while the clothesline bracket has 2 that fits right here. So for all of your different Lockrack accessories, you can find them here at etrailer, whether it's the kayak carrier or the portable dressing room or our focus for this video. This was a look at the Lockrack clothesline for your Lockrack kayak carrier here at etrailer.com.